The where to get support is always kind of an ever present question, and it can be one that unfortunately gets a little bit confusing for folks. And sometimes it can feel as if your question ping pongs to like Bob, and then it goes to Ru Jing, then it goes to me, then it goes to somewhere else in IT, and then IT kicks it back to Bob, or etc. And so we have a group of us that has been meeting on an ad hoc basis, and we are an arm, if you will, of this GIS strategic planning process. That'll be described a little bit more by other presenters. And we're just looking at kind of streamlining that a little bit and making it a little bit easier for you, for really everybody, myself included. I'm a GIS user, making it easier for you to know where to go with questions. So with that, I just want to say one more time, thank you for participating and listening to our presentation. So exactly what is the volume of GIS support at MnDOT? Well, it's actually pretty voluminous. There's a lot of GIS support that goes on every single day. Every single day in MnDOT, there is somebody that needs GIS support. Typically, there's more than one person. And this gets to kind of the point. The office that I work in, the Central Office EGIS, we handle about 220 support requests or calls a year, every single year. Now, you can see that I can't necessarily provide numbers for these other folks, but districts also handle support. Metro, Minute, which is actually technically part of my office, but whatever. They also handle GIS support, and so do other specialty offices handle support. So you can see that I can account for the numbers that come into my work unit, but we don't really know. We don't have like a central accounting for all the different GIS support that comes through our door. And with that, and to kind of address that issue and others, I'd like to introduce another member of our group, Bob Dietrich.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome back from lunch. My name is Bob Dietrich, and I am the District Operations GIS Support. Long title, which really means I support our non-metro districts at the state from a GIS perspective. So all of our district GIS coordinators have me to ping ideas off of and provide different solutions. Most recently, one of the recent accomplishments that happened was someone by the name of Scott Morgan from District 7, I believe, said, "Hey, we don't have any 2019 aerials on our Giorella platform." So put in a minute ticket to Andy's group, and only about 2 weeks later, maybe less than 2 weeks, if you look at Giorella, the 2019 aerial photos are on there, which they were not on there a couple weeks ago. So this slide is, who do I contact for GIS support? Well, that's kind of a difficult answer. Many of us don't really know. A couple years ago, we had this model called the Slim Jim, which Ben Timerson spearheaded. And what was identified, one of the things that was identified out of that Slim Jim was GIS support, knowledge, who to contact, what do I say, what do I want? Just, it's like going into McDonald's and not having a menu. You just kind of stand there and say, oh, I look around. Yep, it's a burger place, but I don't really know if they have salads or fries or shakes or what. So we're going to try to help you with that, what to order and who to order from. All right, so who do I contact? We do have some more information forthcoming on some other slides. Andy, can you go to the next slide, please? All right, so this is a recent photo of some very disturbing confusion on when we have a support call, where do we put that information? Can we share it? So we don't currently have any common repository or a method for contacting anyone. So we don't have one single point of contact for, hey, I have a GIS question. Is there a single point of contact? No, we don't. But we want that. We are looking at this from our users. Our users are participants that are on the call today and saying, okay, how can we make our GIS support user experience better? Anything that we try to accomplish is just a recommendation or a guidance piece, like Joey said, to our communications work group. So we are working on a common repository for sharing support. So if District 7 has an issue, let's make that available to everybody else, including Metro. I think that's enough for now. We've got a lot of information, so I'll go to the next slide and pass it around. Thanks, Andy.
Thanks, Bob. This is Ben West with the Office of Environmental Stewardship. It really ties into this subgroup trying to provide recommendations to the communications committee. And it's not necessarily a single solution, but a multi-path approach. Number one, trying to identify what the problem is, have an initial focus on how to streamline the process and kind of reduce confusion as people are looking for support. Really starting with the easy to quantify and solve problems. And that moves into number two here, where we're making it easier for people to determine who they need to get in touch with, either in MnDOT or at Minute. We'll get into more on this later in the next couple of slides, but this is something that we've already started to tackle and trying to help improve that process. Number three, we're trying to use some different approaches to communicate those changes to help ensure that people know what's going on. So we're not just in a vacuum making these changes. We're using opportunities like this today to help get that information out so people know that these changes have been made and they know where to go to look for the information. Really, the biggest thing that we've done so far is we've cleaned up the GIS support webpage, and there's been some other changes on the GIS OES page, trying to help direct people to that GIS support webpage as well. So if you go on to iHub through A to Z and find the GIS page, it'll be on that landing page. Looks like I got muted. So that's what we've already implemented, is cleaning up the GIS support webpage. We have more things that are to come. As you can see on number 5, we have an asterisk there. And that's because it's more difficult. We don't know how exactly what this is going to look like. It could look something, similar to what EGIS is doing. It might be an Excel spreadsheet. Ideally, we're looking for something that allows us to quantify the work that we're doing so that we're able to, tell people that are in more decision-making roles what's going on, and be able to say, hey, here's the work that GIS is doing. We're doing important things, and be able to kind of pass that along. So there's many more conversations that still need to happen around this on how we're going to proceed and what it's all going to look like. We don't have the answers on number 5 yet. I'm going to pass it on to slide number 6 and Mike Ewell.
Hello, this is Mike Ewell with Minute Metro GIS support. This slide's talking about just the categories of where things should go if Minute should handle things, or if the MnDOT business side should handle a GIS support request. I don't want to read them all for you. You can read them yourself. But generally, MnDOT GIS support is the business side of things, is actual data and business data and developing cartographic products and public facing things like that. So if you're developing an application that you want to, get some business work done with, like through ArcGIS Online or Portal, or you need some data analysis done, or things like that to help the business process and workflow happen for the business to get their work done that they need to get done. On the IT side of things, generally it comes down to maintenance of software and all the architecture and hardware supporting it, granting access to databases, software licensing, of course, troubleshooting and that kind of stuff. Administration of software as well. I think that needs to be done where Minute needs to have kind of full access to things in order to open up the engine, figure out what's wrong with it, put it back together, and make sure that the business has the products available that they need to get their work done. So I don't know, I think that about covers it.
All right, I think this one's mine. This is a snapshot. Again, it's Bob Dietrich here. This is a snapshot of our most recent rendition of MnDOT GIS. If you don't have this page bookmarked, and I'm gonna grab the screen from you, Andy. If you don't have this bookmarked, maybe you should if you're interested in this topic. But right here under MnDOT GIS is support, and we've inserted this very diagram, this chart that Mike was just talking about on the home page of the support tab. So clicking on support will yield this page. There's a lot of information on it. It's all text. Sorry about that, but it's really good stuff. I also want to talk about what is below that. So if we click on GIS contacts, this is that who do we contact? And the first sentence is very important. If you are located in a district, contact your district GIS support coordinator first. Similarly, if you're in a functional area with a GIS coordinator role type of person, such as Ben West was speaking earlier, contact Ben if you're in OES. There are at least 60 people in OES, so they should be contacting Ben. This goes into all of the people that help support GIS at MnDOT. There are, I don't know, 25 to 30 here. We didn't include any embedded Minute staff, so the BAM, business area management staff. We just thought that would get too complicated, and then it would minimize people like Ben's role, who really need to be that first point of contact. This is up to date. We spent some time updating phone numbers, just recently added Aaron Mason in District 2, and vetted all of the other areas that you see here. So very cool page. The home page is also, I mean, this could be a whole half-hour presentation right about this page, but I'm going to stop there and let people peruse this by themselves. Back to you, Andy, and you can present.
And so this slide is really just, we want to hammer home what Bob got into there, showing those different contacts. If you're in a district, contact your district GIS support. If you're in a functional office, contact whoever's listed on that GIS support webpage. Those are your first points of contact, and they can help direct you where you need to go. If it ends up being a Minute, GIS question, they will help direct you to the Minute staff as well. So really reach out to those people that are listed there. They're there to help direct you where your question needs to go, or help answer your question.
Yeah, just one real quick clarifying point from that. I also chatted it. The list of contacts that Bob showed. We've identified the IT ones that need to change, and we submitted that to the people that updated the website, and that'll happen pretty soon. So apologies for that, but it will be cleaned up really, really soon. Some of the folks already mentioned this, and so it's time to just basically talk about our future a little bit and what this group is going to do. Well, the first thing is kind of nuts and bolts, and that's what we're doing right now. That's why we've gotten together and are chatting with you about this. We need to just get the word out. Oftentimes, sometimes people just tend to, when they have a problem, they tend to just go where they've gone in the past. And then, you know, sometimes that works, but sometimes that can create kind of like bottlenecks. So that's why we're kind of relying on you to take some of this information and go forth with it, so to speak. And then the next thing that, and we have to, Ben did a really good job of describing why the next steps that we have to do as far as like a common support repository or like a single point of contact. I think we all know that there is no, we're coming pretty close with updating the website, but it's still not exactly like one single button that could be pushed, kind of like Minute has the IT storefront, that little silver surfer icon. You can click on that. We haven't quite reached that point with GIS, but we're going to start having conversations about how we get to something like that. It'll be kind of fun. There's just an array of technology options in front of us that we could use, ranging from anything as far as a repository is concerned, like anything as simple as like a spreadsheet, all the way up to like I don't know, something with you know, geoforms and stuff like this. We don't know yet. It's going to be fun to have that conversation. So that's it. Be on the lookout for that. We're asking you to go ahead and get the word out about the new website, and we're also letting you know that we're going to be having we're going to be looking at getting that common repository going. And now we actually have some questions for you, just to ensure that you've distilled this information.
Yeah, so just type your answer in the chat. Question 1, let's say if you are a person in District 6 and you need an ArcGIS Online account, what should you do? Submit an IT ticket request, contact your district coordinator, ask someone who works with GRLA what they would do, or contact your manager and ask for an account. Looks like the people who are responding got it right. Go to your district coordinator. All right, so in question number 1, if they didn't know who the district coordinator was, district GIS coordinator, how would they find him? I know for sure I would email Bob Diedrich to ask who it is. Or maybe I'd submit an IT request, or maybe I'd submit a support to Esri to ask how, or maybe I'd go to the GIS support page. Looks like a few people have the right answer. Yeah, D. Good job, everyone.
So a person in OTSM experiences a problem with the roads and highways extension ArcGIS. Who should they contact? Should they ask a coworker or supervisor to verify the problem? Visit the GIS support page and go to GIS contacts tab, or submit a support request to Esri to verify the problem, or contact Andy, the ITE GIS support specialist. We all know that we're contacting Andy. So this one's a little bit tricky. Correct answer is A, though. Verify that the problem exists before you do anything else. Make sure it's just not something on your machine. So question 4, a person in District 1 needs help applying symbols in an MXD. Should they tell their supervisor it's a hopeless situation, the technology simply doesn't exist? Ask someone who works with GRLA what they would do. Contact your district GIS coordinator, or D, contact John Harrison. This one we made a little bit easier. Correct answer C, get in touch with your GIS coordinator. They're there to help.
Oh, this is mine. So this is the another question to just drive it home. If you don't know how to find, if that person didn't know how to find their district coordinator, how would they find them? Email their manager and ask who it is. Visit the GIS support page. Submit an IT request, or contact HR to alert them GIS support professionals are unreasonably difficult to find. It looks like we have a few people choosing the correct answer, or with B. go to your district coordinators list. We've got just a couple more questions. Let's see here. A person in the asset management project office is looking for speed limit data. Should they call somebody they know at Esri to ask them what to do? Contact their office GIS specialist. Forget about ArcGIS and instead sulk about how the Minnesota Gophers 2021 football team is thus far underperformed. Submit an IT request. I would argue that sulking about the Gophers or any Minnesota sport is always an exceptional option, but I think the correct answer is B. Bob, do you want to take over the remaining questions and kind of round us out? I think
Yeah,
I
sure.
accidentally stole your slides there. Sorry.
No, I would start with some. I was going to go on number 7. So number 7, in the previous scenario, question number 6, if they don't know their office GIS specialist, how would they find them? Visit the GIS support page and go to the GIS contacts tab. Hire a private detective to find them. Submit an IT request ticket. Contact me, MnDOT GIS support specialist. Or just go to the sofa and look under the cushion. Lift up a rug, see if they're there. The correct answer is A. Visit the support page again. So a lot of questions going back to that support page reference. But thanks everyone for playing along. I think there's one more. Yeah. So a person in OLM believes a web map, app, script, or some other specialized product of their office no longer works and needs replacing. They need help figuring out where to begin. Should they A, dive in and do it to the best of their ability? B, contact their supervisor and or coworkers to tell them about the problem and explain things need to be improved? Submit an IT request ticket? Or D, visit the GIS support page and go to the contacts tab?
This is kind of a tricky one.
Yeah, very tricky. Yeah, I'm conflicted. Galen says do D, then B. All right.
Aha!
So Galen sniffed out this very complex question and answer. So it's contact the supervisor and coworkers, tell them about the problem, and then visit the support page. Wow. This is getting expert level here, so we're going to quit. Oh, there we go. Thank you. So thanks everyone for listening in on our best guess of GIS port improvements.